Well, good morning. Today's date is July the 10th, 2025. It's a Thursday. The time is 8:44. The Committee on Parole is seated here, and you can see who we are. I'm Steve Prater. Jerry Ledoux is to my right, and Chuck Tillis to my left. We're in Baton Rouge at the Department of the headquarters for the Department of Corrections. Y'all introduce yourself in the room here in Baton Rouge. Okay, thank y'all for the work that y'all do. Okay, we'll first be going to St. Mary Law Enforcement Center and speaking to Daniel McNeil. Mr. McNeil, is that you I'm looking at on the screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and we're at St. Mary Law Enforcement Center. And who from St. Mary is in the room with you? Staff, would you introduce yourself?
Lieutenant Brian Benoit.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you for hosting us. Mr. McNeil, do you have a form in front of you that says about your hearing this morning?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay, and did you sign that form and you understand it's a waiver and all the things that are on that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. We appreciate that. Well, we're going to go into these violations and you're accused when you get out of jail, as you know, you sign and say, I'll abide by certain conditions, and your parole officer says you didn't abide by some of those conditions. And so we're going to talk about them, okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, first off, there's number 2. Violation of 2, you were hard to find, is that correct?
No, sir, not really.
Not really.
I mean, in a physical, I ain't have transportation or nothing, but we was doing FaceTime. I was FaceTiming my parole officer.
Okay.
You're saying not guilty?
Okay, and you're saying not guilty?
Yes, sir.
You're saying not guilty, you didn't violate that. Okay, let's go to number 3. It says that you were released on 12/23 to GTPS Pro with a reported address of 450 Cottonwood. You confirmed the address at intake. Agents learned your actual address was 307 North Elm, and they made contact with you there. On 5/10/2024, after leaving the car at your mother's house, he made contact with you by phone, at which time you reported you moved to Morgan City. You were allowed a short time to look for work and report back to the parole officer, which you failed to do. On 11/18/2024, after again leaving the car at your mother's house, he made contact with you at phone, at which time you reported a different address in Morgan City. Okay, tell me about that. Tell me what's going on.
Okay, I got out of jail and I was homeless. I had nowhere to go. My mom let me stay there for however time until I, find me a job, and it was going slow there. So, she said that she bought the house for her and her husband, and I was grown and I couldn't stay there no more. So I ain't had nowhere to go in Voss Parish because I never lived there. I always lived in Morgan City my whole life. So she said, well, what you want to do? I can take you back to Morgan City, or you're gonna have to get out here on the streets. And I say, well, my chances are better in Morgan City. Like, I mean, I know I've been there all my life. I had jobs there. I was supervisor at PMI. I could do better for myself in Morgan City. So she brought me back to Morgan City, dropped me at a hotel. She paid for the hotel for like 3 days, and after that, I was just on the streets. I mean, I FaceTimed my PO. I called him. I was letting him know what's going on. I let him know where I was. I had no reason to run from him. I just didn't have nowhere to live, and I was looking for work. I FaceTimed my PO. He told me it was okay. Go ahead and look for work. I was sleeping on the back porch at my friend's house because he had daughters, and I couldn't, you don't know nobody around your daughters like that. So I really didn't have an address to give him, but I was trying. I was trying to, retain an address for myself so I could give to him. And the work just wasn't coming quick enough.
Okay.
And
all right. I think you've explained your side as well as you could. Have you ever been on parole before?
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay. So you know the importance of checking in. Have you ever revoked your parole before?
Yes, sir, one time.
Okay, all right, let's move on to rule number 4. Okay, it says that on or about 1/24 of 2025, you were arrested by the Morgan City Police Department for the commission of resisting an officer and domestic abuse battery. You pled guilty to the charge of resisting an officer, and you were sentenced to serve 90 days in jail, credit for time served, and not to have any contact with Mary Poole. The charge of simple battery involving domestic violence was null prost. It wasn't dismissed or found guilty, but it was just laid back on according to what this says, null prost, and you pled guilty also to the charge of contempt of court, and you were served 30 days for that. What about that fight that y'all got into?
For me and Mary,
Yes.
it wasn't a physical fight. She was fussing at me. Cause I was trying to leave at like 9 o'clock at night, I think. And she was fussing at me. She was doing all the loud talking. It wasn't nothing but loud talking. And when the cops came, I mean, we tried to tell them that. We both was telling them that. And I ended up going to jail. I didn't get charged with no misdemeanor domestic till the next day. I didn't have charges, but I was in jail till the 24 hours before they gave me a charge.
Well, not really. They charged you with resisting that night.
Yeah, I mean, for the domestic thing. They charged me resisting that night. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Well, they did some more investigating and thought that was a valid reason to charge you with the domestic. Okay. So you're saying that you were innocent of the domestic violence?
100%, sir.
But you pled guilty to resisting arrest. Resisting
Yes,
all.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
All right. Number 9, agents been unable to make contact with you at your residence since February 6th of 2024. You've moved multiple times without permission or notification. That's kind of like the first one we read, number 2. Are you guilty of that or not?
I really didn't move. Like, I mean, I didn't even have an address. I was sleeping where I could sleep. I didn't have nowhere to live, sir. I mean, I wasn't running. I hadn't broken a law. I hadn't broken not one law. So why would I be hiding from him? I just didn't have an address to live. I mean, I gave my address, and like in the next 2 or 3 days, I wouldn't even be there no more because I can't stay there no more. I had to find somewhere else to go. So I mean, my address, I don't know. I call him. I mean, FaceTime him. I'm letting him know I'm on the street. I'm gonna get a job though. Cause I work. I'm gonna get a job. It's gonna change for me. Just hold bad with me. And that's all I could have did. I mean.
Okay. Okay. All right. I think we've heard you. We've heard that part of it. Okay. And you owe $1,008. You've made no payments toward your supervisory fee since being released to supervision. You currently owe $1,008. Is that true?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And why had you?
I didn't have a job. Sir, like for real, I was barely eating in a day. Like, I mean, if you give me a chance to go home, man, I could get on the payments. I could start, I have a girlfriend, she could help me with that. I could get on the payments and start paying.
Who is your girlfriend?
Well, Mary Poole's cousin. Alicia Poole.
Mary Poole's cousin.
Yes. That's what the argument.
Mary Poole's one you had the argument with and you slapped, according to what you said in the back of that patrol car. You remember that?
I slapped her.
Yes.
No, Mary was trying to slap me. I was grabbing her hands.
Okay. All right. Well, we won't get into all that because I think I've heard enough. Yeah.
I don't have any questions.
Okay, Mom, I'm the first one to vote since this particular case was mine to do. I think that you need to spend some more time in jail. I don't think you understand the seriousness of being on parole, the importance of reporting to your officer, and the importance of staying away from any kind of relationships or situations like when you fought this lady. So for that reason, my vote is to revoke because of rules 2, 4, 9, and 10 violations.
Sir, can I say something before y'all vote me?
No, I think we're ready to vote. We've heard what you had to say, Mr. Tillman.
My vote is to revoke two according to the violations that he violated.
Have to read the video and testimony, reading all the testimony and reviewing the supervising agent's notes. My vote is also to revoke based on your violation of conditions of parole.
Okay, that will conclude this hearing. You are hereby revoked. It's 8:55 in the morning. Thank you.
Dude, let me.
Can't understand.
Is this where you want me to sit?
Yeah, I sit one of those.
Hey, all right. Good morning. We're at the Department of Corrections headquarters in Baton Rouge. We're continuing with some of our hearings. We now go to Rayburn Correctional Center, and we appreciate y'all being there. We've introduced ourselves, but you can see from our name tags exactly who we are, but I think we're all familiar. Warden, would you introduce everybody that's in your room there, or get them to introduce themselves, please?
Yes, sir. Warden Travis Day.
Kristen Herbert, records. Gracie Williams, classifications.
Assistant Ward John Smiley.
Okay, thank y'all for hosting us this morning. We appreciate that. And we're talking to Mr. Brian Leto. Is that you, Mr. Leto?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what is your DOC number?
It's 577-395.
Okay, all right, well, we appreciate that. Well, the way we conduct these hearings is we give you first shot at exactly telling us what you did, why you're there, and what you've done since you've been incarcerated, and try to convince us that you are worthy of being released early. And then we're gonna go to the warden and ask the warden to speak on what he knows as far as your behavior since he's seen you in the institution there. Then we've got some folks here in headquarters here that want to speak also in opposition. We don't have anybody speaking in favor except you. So, Mr. Leto, now is your chance to try to convince us that you're worthy of being released early. Go ahead.
And I'd like to begin, first of all, by offering my most sincere apology to my children, Scott, Shannon, and Sarah, and my family and friends as well. I apologize for putting them through this ordeal. Although my kids are not part of my life right now, I continue to pray for them every day and hope they find a way to live happy and fulfilling lives. I will always miss them every day and understand that I brought this upon myself. Since being incarcerated, I've done all of the programs that the state has required me to do, additional self-help programs as well. And I've had no write-up since I've been here, so I've been a mentor and help other inmates on the facility.
Okay. What kind of courses, what kind of education have you taken there?
I've already had my GED when I arrived, but I've taken Living in Balance, some Toastmasters programs, as well as Cagerade. Sorry, I couldn't think of the name of it.
Okay. Warden, what can you tell us about his behavior since you know him?
Yes, as far as being here at RCC, he's worked in the kitchen for 9 years, so he's had a pretty constant, stable job in there with no disciplinary issues. And as far as an inmate, has been a model inmate.
Okay, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Okay, we have three family, victims' family that are going to speak, and they'll be speaking from headquarters here. And we'll start with, we're going to have Seth Kleiner, Shannon Falco, and Sarah Leto. And I'll let y'all decide who wants to speak first. And if you would, try to limit your remarks to 2 or 3 minutes or whatever, and let us know what your feelings are. Introduce yourself, please, ma'am.
My name is Sarah Leto.
Okay.
Whatever I think is my childhood with Brian, it's never once been any form of a good memory. It's always come with feelings of sadness, betrayal, depression, and loneliness. Just to name a few. Things that I still deal with every day. These are emotions that a father should never make a child feel. That Brian made me feel that way with every memory of him, and still makes me feel that way today as I say this. His actions have impacted my life so negatively. As a child, I had to learn how to deal with the horrible trauma of Brian and he put me through. I had to be way stronger than any child at that age should have to. Countless nights I sat there and wondered why couldn't I just have a dad that loved me. To this day, I still struggle with trust issues. I struggle as a mom every day. I struggle trusting anyone around my daughter. I'm not around assuming since my own dad could hurt me so badly, someone will try to hurt her as well. I hate to think that one day I will have to sit her down and answer why I never got to have a dad. I continue to struggle with the effects from what Brian did. Him serving the time that he agreed to is just a fraction of what he actually deserves. I'll never get my childhood back, and unfortunately, I'll never forget what he did. He doesn't deserve to get a second chance because I never got a second chance. What he did is disgusting and unforgivable.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate your comments there. Okay, who is going to speak next?
My name's Shannon Falco. The sexual abuse that I've endured for most of my childhood ended more than 2 decades ago, but I deal with the emotional and physical effects daily. Most of my adult life has been spent trying to recover, heal, and find some sense of normalcy. Currently, I deal with a variety of issues, including but not limited to the following: depression, anxiety, low self-esteem, feelings of worthlessness, disordered eating, chronic headaches, nightmares, flashbacks, triggers, panic attacks, thoughts of self-harm, extremely negative body image issues, and problems with intimacy. I've had to leave work because a flashback was so intense that I couldn't breathe. I've been in certain places, had a random flashback triggered by something I was unaware of and could no longer return to that place. I have seen a number of therapists and have been unable to find one that is a right fit for me. This is also an expensive and time-consuming process, which puts a burden on me financially. Even today, seeing him is going to be a very intense trigger for me after this. I genuinely believe there is no punishment to fit such a terrible crime, but I'm also 100% in favor of the maximum sentence allowed. This person stole my childhood from me. He helped bring me into this world only to ruin my life and steal my innocence, my life, my hopes, and my dreams. He not only destroyed my childhood, but he managed to totally and completely negatively affect my adult life. As much as I would like to believe that when the physical abuse stopped, the pain also stopped, I know firsthand this is not the case. In many ways, the physical abuse was less damaging than the after effects. Just the fact that I'm saying that is a testament to how damaged I really am. I will never know the person I could have been. I will never know what life would be like without constant suffering or physical and emotional pain. Unfortunately, I'll be dealing with this for the rest of my life. This abuse has ruined my life, and although I could finally see that this was in no way my fault, we continue to try to move forward and live a happy life. I can also say that this situation has been incredibly unfair to me. I'm angry that so much has been taken from me, and how brutally exhausting it is to work so hard just to try to feel whole and normal. I ask you today to please see that this person is where he belongs, where he's not a danger to me or any other member of society. I will never get back what he stole from me. I am heartbroken. I'm sad, I'm angry, and I will spend the rest of my life trying to recover. I thank you for the opportunity to speak today.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate you being here. Appreciate that. Now we'll hear from Seth Kleiner.
I'm Seth Kleiner. I'm Sarah's husband, 18 years. In that period, I have seen how Brian's actions have affected her. I've also gotten to know Shannon and have talked to her about the effect his actions have had on her. They are both strong and amazing women that were forced to become stronger than they ever should have been. I have personally seen the distrust of any new person that Sarah has. When I asked her about this, she said she is this way because if her own dad could do what he did, then who knows what a stranger would do. Throughout the years of knowing them, they have never told me one good thing about him. Never one instance of feeling loved. Only fear that what he was doing physically and mentally would never stop. As a father, It absolutely sickens me to hear the things that he did. Where a father is supposed to protect and love his child, he did nothing but scare and hurt. These women have come very far and have worked very hard to not be constantly affected by his disgusting actions. Every time they have to come here and discuss this, it does nothing but hurts them more each and every time. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that, and we'll keep those comments in mind also. Your case, Mr. Leto has been assigned to Ms. Ledoux, who is on my right, and she is, she'll be the one that's gonna be asking you questions.
Mr. Leto, after reviewing your file, and I cannot find any programming certificates after 2019. Have you taken any classes since 2019?
Were you referring to sex treatment offender programs or?
No, any. So when did you take the Madison Tech class?
Probably back in 17 or 18.
Right. Okay. So I can't find any kind of classes, no certificates after 2019. You finished phase 4 in 2019. The
Right.
facility, can you,
I'm sorry.
can you confirm that?
Yeah, I don't know the exact dates. I believe the two programs I had mentioned may have been after that. I had copies of certificates that I submitted. I'm not sure the exact dates though.
Well, I'm looking at all of those certificates and there's nothing after 2019. So it looks like, so what have you been doing with your time? What is your duty status? What do you do with your time?
No, I'm a cook, a full-time cook in the kitchen,
Okay.
and I've been there for 9 years.
What are your plans were you to be released? What would your plans be?
Well, first of all, my address has been approved already pending my release, and I look to find work and be a producer in society and earn my independence as quickly as possible so I wouldn't have to rely on anybody.
So where was your address plan?
It's in Lacombe, Louisiana.
Where?
Lacombe, Lacombe. Yes, ma'am.
What did? How can you overcome this kind of opposition?
And it would be extremely difficult. At the time all this occurred, I had a bad addiction to pornography that led to all of this. But I went through treatment and I've gotten beyond all of that, certainly. But obviously my children have not gotten that far. And I'm sorry to hear that.
How many children did you have total?
3?
2 girls and, or 3 girls? A boy.
3, 2 girls and a boy, yes, ma'am.
I don't have any other questions.
All right. I don't have any questions. All right, I think it's time to vote now, and Mr. Ledoux will start out the voting for us.
Mr. Leto, your full-time date, according to my record, is 2030. At this time, my vote is to deny parole. You will be released at that time.
My vote is also to deny because of strong family opposition.
And that's 2 votes, and my vote also would be to deny because of victim opposition, because of the type of the crime that occurred. That will conclude this hearing, 9:21. All right, good morning. We're the Committee on Parole. The time is 9:26 in the morning. And we're in Baton Rouge, and the three of us will be conducting this hearing. You can see from our name tags who we are, and we've had several hearings already, and we'll continue. This is our second one at Rayburn, and we're going to continue the same way that we are. You are Mr. Jessie Shelton, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
What is your DOC number?
574125.
Okay. What we're gonna do, Mr. Shelton, we're gonna hear in just a minute what you got to say about why you're there and what you've done since you've been there and why we should give you a chance to get out early. And then we're gonna ask the warden what kind of fellow you are. Then we'll immediately go into talking to three folks that are behind you, Michelle Shelton, Carl Shelton, and Shannon Burris. And so that's the way that we will conduct this hearing this morning. Then Ms. Leto and Mr. Tillis and myself will ask you questions and then we'll vote. Pretty simple. So the first step of it is for you to tell us why you're there, what you did, what's changed in your life and that sort of thing. Tell us, convince us something.
The first part of the question was why I'm here.
I'll let you answer whichever part you want. I was just giving that as an example.
All right.
Tell us about yourself.
Well, I've been at Rayburn here and in prison for 15 years. As soon as I got here, I seen that I had a lot of time. I wanted to pursue what I could. And at that time, what was available was academics. And so I probably got a little aggressive with my education, but I dove into it. I acquired 4 college degrees and helped 300 inmates get their diplomas as a tutor and entered every kind of program I could find. And I was new to prison, so it was difficult. And I just wanted to keep my mind busy and stay focused on my future rather than what was going on in prison. It was easy to get caught up in prison. I could see that. And I didn't want to fall into depression and all the difficulties of prison. And so I made academics my pursuit. We had a fantastic lady here, Deborah Cook, who headed up that department and really gave us some alternatives. And I spent most of my 15 years helping other men do the same. This has been my pursuit. Right now, I am currently working for HVAC. I went through my academic years, my first 8 years, then I pursued the vocation for several years and got 3 certifications to automotive. I got a business degree. That was one of my 4 college degrees. And I got a business degree in the academics and a couple of religious degrees. But I pursued, like at this time, my academics were behind me. So I pursued the vocation became available as my time got shorter. And so I followed that with my last 4, maybe 5 years. I've been working for HVAC, taking what I learned in building technology and just preparing myself for my future, my jobs when I come home.
Okay.
But I mean, there's more. I've been here 15 years, so there's a lot. That's the condensed version.
Move on to the crime itself.
Okay.
Tell us about the crime and what you did wrong and what you do differently.
All right. Okay. All right. My crime is aggravated incest, and this occurred in 03 when well, around that time, and it was not a very bright chapter in my life. I was going through difficulties, and unfortunately, I want to be careful how I say what I say, but I want to be honest. I committed a sexual crime with my own daughter and went through a lot of denial and didn't want to face up to it. I tried to, but I have to say now, as I look back, I tried to do that my way, and it didn't work out well. I had a lot of help during these 15 years here. You know, outside ministers coming in, and just I really was amazed at people that could help me with my struggles and face the facts and get me to see the real damage. One of the results that came from me confronting myself and issues from my own past and acknowledging how that really affected my daughter, the victim in this crime. I pursued here what we have a victim awareness class. And that tool, trying to work with others who have done this and deal with my own issues, made me really, Mr. Prater, made me look deeper into who I am and why these things happen. And fortunately, there's a lot of good programs here. Men will take advantage of them. But you got to want. And I think my want to got changed. And by God's help, I psychologically, you can't fix yourself. And I know that I've done everything in my power to do what I could do, and then had to realize that would never be enough. Then outside help, like I said, came in and brought to me freshness and said, listen, you need to work on this. You need to work on that. And I put behind me what I had behind. And the last hearing, it was amazing. I guess I didn't know how badly I needed forgiveness, but I was told you can't pursue that. You can't pursue getting forgiveness from your victim. That's inappropriate. And I agree. But when she offered forgiveness in that last hearing, and even Mr. Roche read a part of that, it opened a whole new chapter. These last 3 years since that last meeting, it's really helped me see a future I can own. You can plan for it and want it, and it's all sounds great, but if it's not personal, real, and the release I've gotten, I'm free. I hope this board can let me go in good conscience, your good conscience, and begin the next chapter of my life. But I wasn't ready until I put those things behind me. In these past 3 years, I've spent really delving in. I don't know how to. I'm lost for words, but I'm grateful. I'm shocked, really, at the potential I still have. I guess I threw myself my hopes away when I came to prison in some aspect. And it's not about me, but if I'm going to go out and be who I am going to be, I need to be a father. I need to be a husband. I need to be a man of integrity and have some stability in my life. And I believe because I dealt with the things the last 3 years, that I'm more equipped to do that. And I guess that's how I have wrapped that part up.
All right, thank you, Warden. What kind of fella has he been?
So he's been here since 2011 with only 6 disciplinary issues. The last one's been in 2017. He is working in our maintenance department here with the HVAC. And most every time I go into the church and religious services, he's in there in some way, shape, or form.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir. We appreciate that. We'll go ahead and hear from the 3 folks that are behind you. Whichever one wants to speak, if you would keep it to around 2 or 3 minutes, we'd appreciate that.
Sure. Hi, I'm Michelle Shelton. I'm Jessie's wife. I'm here speaking on his behalf. We've been together since we were 16 years old. If there's anyone who's been there, who knows him, it's me. And we've been through some horrific things in our life. We grew up together, still growing up together. But the main thing I wanted to say today is that I've seen so much progress in Jessie. There are a lot of things I believe that we still need to face in counseling that just can't be done. With the separation that we have here. I know I'm looking to seek some counseling together and individually in the future. And I'm here to say that I'll be the one who will make sure that he has a place to live, transportation, to and from obligations he may have should he be released. Seek that counseling. And working together toward proper healing. It's very difficult with a proper healing process when you're separated. And so I'm asking that you would consider giving him that opportunity.
Okay.
Yes,
You're his wife,
yes,
your kids, you have kids together?
yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you, ma'am. We appreciate that. We'll move on now to, let's see, who would like to speak next? Carl? Okay. Carl Shelton.
I'm Carl Shelton. I'm his older brother, and I've known him all my life, and I'm here for support. So if he does get out, he needs talk or help, I'm here available for him. You know, I've been seeing him all throughout the years and seeing his progress. I really don't know the deep details because I didn't want to get into it, but I'm here for moral support to better the life, better his life.
Okay.
Things
All right.
heal.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate you being here and thank you for your words. We'll take them into consideration. Mr. Shannon Burris, Pastor Burris.
Burns, B-U-R-N-S, sir.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Burns.
Burns.
Burris.
B-U-R-N-S.
B-U-R-N-S, yes, sir.
Okay, Pastor, tell us what's on your mind.
Okay, I've known Jesse since he and Michelle were young married people with babies. And I just want to say that Jesse committed a crime that was reprehensible, and he recognizes that. And but that wasn't the totality of the Jesse Shelton I knew. He was also a fine man in many ways. He was a benefit to our church and our community, and we're sorry that he did what he did, but he's paid a high price for that already. He's paid a pretty heavy debt, and the God that I serve is a God of judgment as well as mercy, and he has mercy in with his judgment. So I believe. I don't believe holding Jesse a lot more years would actually make a big difference in his recovery. In other words, if he hadn't responded now, I don't know that he would if you hold him a lot more years. I just feel like I'd love to see him have a chance to prove himself again in the community.
Should Mr. Shelton be released, what would you allow him to do in terms of your church? Any activities?
He wouldn't be allowed, as far as our church is concerned, he wouldn't be allowed to have any authoritative responsibilities at all.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Anything else? Okay, thank you, sir. We appreciate that very much. And now it's time for us to ask any questions that we have. And Mr. Shelton, I don't want to. We handle a lot of these cases. We get tired of reading them, and we get tired of talking about them. And I know that in this case with aggravated incest, we don't necessarily want to go over everything that occurred, but it's a horrible crime. At one time, you said it wasn't sexual. Was this a sexual crime?
The nature of the crime is titled sexual. So when I say sexual, yes, that's it. With my reservations in the past, and I have sorted through these past 3 years. I really have, because I know I need to answer this. Yes, it was sexual. My defenses in the past, I have to give those up were based on, well, I didn't intend to do it. My intentions, well, that hasn't changed a hill of beans about the consequences. They still fall out the same. She's still traumatized regardless of whatever you want to say about what your motives were. And when I communicated that, of course, it's gonna go like it sounded, just like it sounded. And I go, well, you can have these reservations, but you better understand the rest of the story. And that is, I can't in good conscience say it wasn't a sex crime at all. I mean, I know you don't want to go into the details, and I thank you for sparing me that. But it's like, yes, it was definitely sexual in nature. If if a third party, a date of hers had done what I would be on that in a way that would not be good. But, you know, it took a while for me to see that. So I know the first two hearings, I was still saying the same thing. And I'd have to just change my viewpoint on how to communicate this, not just to say the right words so you hear them. Man, I have to dig down and find out what was I really doing. And that's what I was doing. I wasn't trying to belittle the crime. I was just failing to see.
Okay. And you pled guilty to aggravated incest, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. That's all the questions I have. Mr. Ledoux?
Nothing, thank you.
I'd like to go into executive session.
Okay, we have a motion to go into executive session. Do we have a vote on that, please? We need a second first.
I'll second that.
Got a motion and a second.
Ledoux,
Yes.
Tilly,
Yes.
Parole.
Yes. Okay, we're gonna go into executive session for just a moment to discuss some procedural matters, and then we're going to come back and let you know what our vote is. All right?
Thank you.
Okay, we're returning from executive session, and now's the time that we will vote, but we need a motion and a second to come out of
So
executive.
moved.
Got a motion and a second to come out of executive session, and I don't think there's anyone opposed. So we're now out of executive session and back into regular session. All right, Mr. Shelton, I'm the one, this case was assigned to me in particular to do the interview, and I have. And so I'm gonna vote first, and my vote is to deny your parole request. I don't think I think we need to go ahead and, in my opinion, serve out the rest of your time. You've done great while you're there, but we still have the issue of the fact that it was such a horrible crime, in my estimation, aggravated incest. So my vote is to deny.
My vote also is to deny.
My vote is to grant parole with some strenuous conditions. Your release would be in 2029. That gives the probation and parole officers time to review your conduct and watch you closely. But you needed a unanimous vote today.
Okay, I'm sorry to tell you this, but your parole request has been denied. The time is 9:47 in the morning. All right, good morning. We appreciate you hosting us there again at Rayburn, and thank you very much for that. You're looking at the board here, Mr. Walters. You're looking at the Committee on Parole, the board that's going to hear your request this morning. You're rehearing parole request. You see Mr. Tillis is on my left, Ms. Ledoux on my right, and I'm Steve Prater. And so the way that we're going to conduct this hearing is that we're going to give you a chance to tell us what you did, what you've learned about yourself and about the crime, and why you think we ought to give you a chance to get out early. Then we're going to go to the warden and find out exactly what it is that you've done and how you've acted since you've been in the institution. Then we will go to two folks that are behind you, Aaron Freeman, your nephew, and Melissa Kane, your sister, and they want to speak on your behalf, and then the board will take over, we'll question you, and then we'll vote. Okay, so you understand how the procedure goes? Okay, first, Mr. Walters, what is your DLC number?
420060.
Okay, all right, now the show is yours now for you to convince us about what you did, what you've learned about what you did, and why you should get out.
I raped a little girl, and I'm very sorry for what I did. And I have learned a lot here. I know that wasn't right. I was drinking a lot back then, and I not going to drink. I held a job for 8 years on the sewing machine. This place has really opened my eyes to a new life. I mean, I really want to do better. I think I have changed.
Okay. All right, we appreciate your statement there, sir. Warden, what kind of fellow has he been?
So Gregory's worked, like he said, in the laundry for the past 8 years. He has been a big asset to the facility with his skills. He's pretty much been a model inmate. He's had one minor rule violation since his arrival in 2017. He seems to have a pretty good plan as far as work lined up as a mechanic with his employer providing housing, and they did submit a letter stating that.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Warden. We appreciate that. When we move into talking to Mr. Aaron Freeman, now your nephew, okay. All right, Mr. Freeman, and if you would keep your remarks down to a couple of 2 or 3 minutes so we can conclude this hearing. Go ahead.
Just what all the way to say? I'm sorry, I'm real nervous. I'm sorry.
Okay. Just take a deep breath and tell us why you think that fellow on your right should get out of jail early.
Well, I mean, he's been here for a while, and I know that the way that him and mom has talked on the phone, and I know he's learned a lot. I mean, he's changed a lot from I remember when he was younger, and he's more polite. I just think he's learned his lesson. I really do. I don't know. I mean, I think he has learned his lesson since he's been here. I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's all right. Some folks more relaxed talking to other folks than you are. Okay, well, let's hear from Miss Melissa Kane.
Hello.
Hi.
My brother, I do feel like that he has changed so much. It really makes me emotional because, he did go through a horrible time in his life, and he has he's matured and he has, he's overcome so much. I believe that he deserves, he does deserve a chance. I do believe that. And we have a lot of support for him. He has a huge support system and he will be working, with a mechanic. That's what he was doing before, he came here. And actually he will be working with my son. So, I mean, we have a huge support system and he is an amazing person. He really is. He made a bad mistake. But I believe that he deserves a chance.
Okay.
To make it.
Thank you, you good sister, and appreciate those words. All right, well, we'll turn this over now to Ms. Ledoux, who is going to ask the interview questions of you, and then the rest of it follow up with any questions we might have.
Mr. Walters, how long have you been incarcerated on this charge?
11.5 years.
Okay. Were there two individuals named Dakota involved in this issue?
I think there was, yes, ma'am.
And one was biological.
Yes, ma'am.
You had a alcohol problem. Have you addressed that with treatment within the facility?
Yes, ma'am. I think I have. Yes, ma'am. I don't remember, but I think I have. Okay. Yes, ma'am. I have.
And I see you have taken your Madison Project treatment.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't have any other questions.
Okay, Mr. Tillis?
I don't have it.
Okay, and I don't have any either. Ms. Ledoux, you ready to vote?
Mr. Walters, I have read your entire file, and I have some concerns about public safety. So my vote today is to deny parole.
Mr. Tillis?
My vote also is to not deny because of opposition of law enforcement.
Okay, and my vote also is to deny because of opposition and because I don't think you served enough time on this particular serious charge. The time you have molestation of juvenile, it's a terrible thing. So I'm sorry to tell you, but at 10:02 this morning, your parole has been denied.
Tell them bye and talk to them from the other. He was.
Good morning. We're still at Rayburn Correctional and they've made all the introductions there that we need to. We're at headquarters in Baton Rouge and you can see from our name tags who we are, and we're continuing the hearings this morning. So we don't need any formal introductions. Just for the purpose of the record, it's July the 10th of 2025 and the time is 10:05 in the morning. We have before us, is it Mr. Tyrone Charles? Is that your name or Charles Tyrone?
TYRONE CHARLES, sir.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. And what is your DOC number, sir?
132202.
Okay, all right. Mr. Charles, we're going to first have you talk to us a little bit about what the crime and what you've done since you've been incarcerated and how you've changed and why you should get out early. And we're going to ask the warden to tell us a little bit about your progress and your attitude and what you've done in the institution. Then we're going to talk to three folks that are going to be on Zoom. Kerry Myers, Marilyn Charles, and Terrence Wynn. And we'll be talking to them about why they think that you should be released because they're speaking for you. Nobody's speaking in opposition. So we'll go ahead and get started immediately. Go ahead and tell us, Mr. Charles, why do you think you need to get out early?
I'm a changed man. I'm not the young man that I was that got me in prison, hanging with the wrong crowd when I was young. And man, there's so much I done learned since I've been in jail. The same thing I kept seeing replay when I'm being here. I see certain things that I turn from it and make the situation a better situation by turning from it. And it turned out to be a good situation because I never got into it because you'd be like the guys that I hang around, the same thing that was in the streets. And I just, man.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
I changed my life, and when I was at Angola, they put me in a tag plant, and I was working at the tag plant with the front table, grading tags. I'm the #1 grader at the tag. When they come through, I check for the scotch light, the numbers, make sure the tag ain't busted, nothing like that. And if the whole run come through mess up, I send it back, throw it away if it ain't properly made or nothing like that. And I come up here, they put me in a position in the kitchen as a fry cook, and I ran the kitchen as a fry cook, and I never got into any trouble or nothing like that as I've been as a fry cook in the kitchen. And I think about the past, and I looked at the past and changed it to make my life a little better as I keep living my life. And I learned to love people the way I love myself. I would like to apologize to my victim, to their family, to their neighbor. I'd like to apologize to the police report. I'd like to apologize to my family, to my neighbor, to all the people that I hurt, to the pain and suffering that I caused them as a young man. Now, I'm older. I know the meaning to love, to share, to just be a loving person towards each one individually that I come across. And I'm an artist. I know how to cook. I do hands-on experience work. It's so much that I learned since I've been incarcerated. And
Okay.
I would have never got here if I don't come to prison. I feel like if I would have stayed out there as a young man that I was, I would have got killed in the streets. But jail saved me. Saved me.
Good. Okay. What kind of fella has he been?
Tyrone has been at our facility since 2017, and like he had mentioned earlier, he has been assigned in the kitchen, and he has been a big help with our kitchen operation. He's had 8 RVRs since his arrival at RCC, and his last was 2022 for an intoxication.
Explain that, what substance and all of that.
I was going through a lot of problems. I had 2 brothers got killed. My baby brother, since I've been incarcerated. And it took a toll on me, but I shook back from it, you know what I'm saying? It was just some little mental problems I was going through with my family. And it was like, they made the wars and stuff. Like 3 weeks ago, another baby brother just got passed away. And, you know, it was just a mental thing. But I overcome it.
Okay, so explain, when you get on the streets, things are gonna happen. And if you're turning to drugs and alcohol within the facility, when bad things happen, then your thought pattern has not changed enough to recognize there are other ways to deal with that. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am. On the
You know,
streets.
Go-to. It's your natural go-to.
No, I push all that behind me.
I
Okay,
just want to
well,
explore that. Thank
she
you.
just wanted to get that straight, and I think you answered all the questions that she had for right now. Okay, we're gonna move into talking about the folks that are in favor. We'll first hear from Kerry Myers. Kerry?
Yes, good morning. Kerry Myers with Louisiana Parole Project. We're here to let the board know that we've accepted Tyrone as a client of the Louisiana Parole Project, and we're prepared to offer him the transitional services that he needs after 33 years of incarceration. He served 2/3 of his sentence at this point. He was 20 years old when this crime was committed. He's now 53. He's in a perfect age right now where he's still employable. He's still physically healthy. He's employable. He has skills. We will help him through this transition. Parole Project will offer him the services, first of all, of our social workers to evaluate any substance abuse needs. Also consider, this board may consider a long-term conditional release on a long-term substance abuse program. He's done much of the hard work. He may have some hard work still to do, but considering the amount of time he served on his sentence and the skills that he has, we believe Tyrone would be successful with the right support system. Like I said, with us, he'll have that mentorship. He'll have the evaluations and would follow any recommendations of our social workers. He'll have the ability to go through our program, which will help him with financial literacy, technology, social norms, and all the other skills he would need. So just ask this board to consider the options available today and grant Tyrone parole, whether it be directly to Parole Project or conditional on the completion of a program.
Okay.
How long are you willing to have him live with you there?
We would be, his long-term address would be in Shreveport, but we would be willing to have him as long as we needed to have him.
In 9 months? Would you keep him 9 months?
Yes, ma'am, we could.
Okay, next we'll hear from Marilyn Charles, the sister. All right, we're ready for you.
Hello to the board and the committee. Thank y'all for having me today.
Ma'am.
All right, my name is Marilyn Charles. I am the sister of Tyrone Charles. And I would think, I think in my heart that he would revocate from being released on parole because he have shown to me that he's real remorseful for what he's done. He has showed me that he's more of a independent person than what he was when we were growing up. When we were growing up, Tyrone was really young and he was probably getting into a lot of trouble. But now he's not that person. Him being locked up, like he just mentioned to y'all, he told me also that him being locked up changed him. And if it wasn't for him being locked up, he probably wouldn't even be here right now. And I give my great support to the system because the system did change him and he learned a lot of skills. He has a lot of certificates of completions that he have completed since he's been there. So that was good. And I also send my remorse also to the family and the friends and my family as well, and the committee, and the Louisiana, Shreveport, Louisiana, Bossier, you know, for the remorse, the problems that my brother had caused. But he's the changed man now, and I love it.
Okay, well, thank you for that. We'll move on to Mr. Terrence Wynn. Mr. Terrence Wynn. Yes, sir, Mr. Wynn, go ahead and tell us what's on your mind.
Good morning, and thank y'all for allowing me this opportunity to speak on behalf of Mr. Charles. Tyrone is a guy that I knew, that I know. You know, we played basketball and stuff together. He used to cook for us. So Tyrone is a person that since I've been home and doing the things that I'm doing, that he could help our organization. If once he's released from parole project, it's going to be a continuation of him having the support he needs. Because when a person comes home from prison, it's like PTSD. We got a form of PTSD and we need to support. And we need support from people that's been through similar situations. So our organization will give him that support so that he won't ever fall back into the ways he once was in as a young man, which I don't think that he would, because 33 years of incarceration would change any man that really wants change. And he's shown that he really wants to change. So the experience for him has been his best teacher. But we're here to offer the support he needs. And if he needs employment, our organization could give him employment, and we can just do whatever it takes to make him stay on the right path, because he will be speaking to kids, so the kids can not follow in his footsteps. And we're just here to continue what the parole project is offering. So thank y'all.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Wynn. We appreciate that. But your case, Mr. Charles, your case has been assigned to Mr. Tillis as the lead interviewer. And then we'll ask questions if we have any that he hadn't covered, and then we'll vote, let you know. So, Mr. Tillis.
Good morning, Mr. Charles. How are you?
Good morning. How you feeling?
The warden told us about your last write-up since you were there. What about when you were in Angola? I saw you had a lot of write-ups there. What was going on?
Oh, man. It was pretty wild up there, but I was just hanging with the wrong crowd, chilling with the wrong peoples and stuff like that. And then when I came up here, I made a big change.
Okay, I heard you say something earlier. Before you were incarcerated, you were hanging with the wrong crowd. You were incarcerated, and you're hanging with the wrong crowd again. So what's going on?
When I was at Angola, I was working when I was in the field at Angola. That's how it all started, because you found some big old dudes up there. They real big, and I was a little bitty guy. It's like they put me in a trap trying to get me caught up. So, you know how it is when you be around a bunch of like a bunch of
Okay.
violent enemies.
Okay. At the time of this crime, were you doing drugs?
Sir,
Were you doing drugs at the time of the charges that you last had?
yes, sir.
You were doing drugs? Were you selling drugs?
No, sir.
So you were using drugs?
Yes, sir.
So, okay, why did you go into with a gun to deal with this person? When you shot the person, what happened? Why did you go in with a gun and shot these people?
I didn't shoot him. I didn't have no gun.
The report says you had a gun.
I ain't had no gun, sir.
Okay. So what have you been doing with your time? What level of education you have?
Level of education.
Yeah, how far did you go in school?
Went to the eighth grade. I was a yes.
You tried to get your GED?
No, sir.
You didn't? You've never tried?
I'm ESP.
You're what?
Special ed student. ESP.
He's
ESP?
It's special ed.
Okay.
Okay, so you say you can get in there and do it. You can put yourself into it. Don't you think?
Yeah. When I was young, I got jumped on. I got beat with a 2x4 by a stove. When I come out the stove, two dudes jumped on me and beat me with a 2x4. So, you know,
I got
stitches from the back of my head.
Okay, what about the classes that you took while you were there? Which one impacted you the most?
Sober living in 100 hours. Sober living. Living in balance. Anger management.
Okay, tell me about something that happened in there. I mean, these classes, tell me about them.
They teach you how to build. Like in one of the classes, they were teaching me how to control yourself. You know, somebody come around and like try to piss you off or something like that, and you got to get around the situation. And I know how to get around the situation. And from that point, I've been just staying out the way of it.
Okay, so you know how to get out of these situations now. I think you could get your GED too. I mean, don't you think you're capable of getting that?
I can try.
Well, that's good. If you try, that's good. You need to try. You need to try. What makes you think that you're young enough now? You know, you've been in there 33 years, but you're still young enough to get out of there and do some drugs again. You got drunk while you were in prison?
Ma'am, sir?
You ever got drunk while you were in prison?
No, sir. I don't drink.
You ever used drugs while you were in prison?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you use them while you were in prison, so you don't think you'll use them when you get out?
No, sir.
Why?
Because I quit.
How long has it been since you used drugs?
About 2 days ago.
Say that again. You said 2 days ago?
2 years. 2 years ago. 2 years ago. 2 years.
I'm not trying to confuse you, but I want to help you. I want to help you, but you got to help yourself. You got to want to help yourself. So there was another question I wanted to ask you. You got a year sentence and you've done 33. And you think you won't do that again. You won't use drugs again. You think you won't the wrong crowd again.
No, sir.
You don't think you'll be incarcerated again.
Never. I know that's a fact.
Where do you plan to work if you're released? work on, I could work, my niece done got a detail shop. I could sell my artwork. I got my own cartoons, I'm an artist, my cartoon artist. And I can cook. I'm a hands-on person. Once you teach me hands-on, I got it. Do you live if you were released? With my mama until I get a better place where I can get my own place to stay. Okay, I have no more questions.
Mr. Blue, any questions? I don't have any questions.
I'll tell you what, I am going to vote to grant you, ask the governor to commute your sentence to 99 years. This is what, I mean parole. My decision is to grant to Louisiana Parole Project. And on the conditions that you try to get your GED.
Complete or truncated?
He said he'd try. That's good enough for me.
My vote would also be to grant after completion of your GED to the Parole Project with the special conditions that you have random drug screens while you're at Parole Project.
Okay, and you need a unanimous vote, and I'm sorry to tell you this, but my vote is to deny. I think because of your intoxication, using drugs while in prison, at the mark that you use it after having been incarcerated for 30 years, and you still jump at drugs while you're in prison because that you're a habitual offender, because you committed the 2 armed robberies, and during the armed robbery, somebody was shot and seriously hurt. And so for those reasons, my vote is to deny. So I'm sorry to tell you this, but your parole has been denied. It's 10:26 in the morning, and that's the end of this hearing and the end of our time. I think at Rayburn, I believe it concludes everything we had at Rayburn. So I'm sorry to tell you that.
I would consider that.
There you go. If you need a minute for the screen, we can. Adjust it.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's the Committee on Parole, and we're going to be sitting here and we're going to be interviewing you and talking to you a little bit about the revocation hearing that you've got right now. Mr. Jones, you're at Terrebonne Correctional Center. Is there anybody in the room with you?
No, sir.
Okay, no staff in there. Okay, so we'll just talk to you. Then what's your DLC number, Mr. Jones?
Is it 00376190?
Is that correct?
No, 376190. Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Excuse me, Mr. Terry, didn't I get exonerated?
Did you get what?
Exonerated.
Exonerated.
No, sir, I don't think you did. I think we're here revocation here.
Well,
Okay.
well, I got exonerated. I think like 4 or 5 years back, and y'all and now y'all saying not exonerated anymore. How can that be?
Do you have a form in front of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, did you sign that form?
This to my for the coming revocation hearing?
Yes, sir, for this hearing.
No, I was forced to come. The parole officer said that I had to come. He said I had to come, and I deferred it. He said I have to come though. I don't know why.
Maybe that may help.
Okay, were you on parole?
I was on parole for drugs, yes, sir.
Okay, and that's why we're here to talk about the fact that you violated your parole.
I violated my parole. Okay, sir, I'm trying to find out if and listen, I deferred this hearing. Why did that? Why am I here?
You refused to sign the preliminary hearing paperwork.
I deferred it. So I know I got to go to court for the charge that I shouldn't have. That.
Right. Yes. When were you arrested?
I was arrested on the 7th about two months back.
Okay. And but you refused to sign your paperwork. Hold on.
What paperwork?
Okay, you signed the paperwork right there for the hearing for today.
No, I didn't, sir. I got. Listen, he told me the parole officer told me that he making me come to this hearing.
Okay.
He said I have to come to this hearing.
Okay, well, you're here now, so we might as well have the hearing then.
But hold up, sir.
I'll let you plead guilty and
But hold up, sir, I would like to defer the hearing. I don't want the hearing. Why do I have to have the hearing? If I'm saying I deferred it already, I don't want it.
Do you have outstanding charges against you?
The lawyer already told me that the charge has been dismissed on me. I don't have to, that she said that the registration stuff that I have that I'm going through, she said that she don't even see why I'm even in jail.
Okay, I'd like to go into executive session.
I second.
Yes.
Yeah.
Y'all not answering my question though.
Okay, just stand by for just a minute. We're gonna go in executive session, and look at some paperwork, and then we'll get right back with it.
I can ask, but I can ask y'all questions, and y'all not answering my questions, but y'all want to answer y'all questions.
Yes, sir. Sometimes it's not fair. Okay, we're
It's
gonna go in.
no, hold on, sir, you can't, hold up, because it's not fair. No, you can't do that. No, hell, you can't, no, that's disrespectful. You just told me it's not fair. No, sir, that's not, then why am I here then? If you're not
One,
I move that we get out of executive session.
Okay.
And I'll second.
Got a motion and a second, and I concur. So we are now out of executive session. We're back into the hearing. And Mr. Jones, we've discussed this thing and we've run up and down the street with it. You got two choices. You can either ask for a continuance. Okay, we can continue it, or you can revoke yourself.
Unmute yourself.
Tell them, ask them you're muted. I can't hear you. Get somebody in there to unmute you. Okay? Okay?
I think he's angry.
Leave. Oh, that was, okay. Is she gonna come in there?
Let's see, I guess open the door.
We need you unmuted. Tell her we need him unmuted.
Okay, now we can hear you, I think. Go ahead and say what you have two choices. Continuance or revoke yourself.
Hold up, listen. In parole, on parole, I'm not here for I'm not here. Listen, the charge. Listen. What is my? What am I here for?
Okay.
Revoke yourself for what? I never did anything wrong.
When I talk, you listen. When you talk, I'll listen.
Okay,
are
that's
you
right.
charged
So,
with being?
Listen, you can revoke me. I can listen. I don't get revoked in parole. The judge, whatever. If I go to court and I lose in the charge, understand me? That revokes me. Understand my parole, not just revoke myself. Why would I do that?
Okay, so you're not revoking yourself. So you want a continuance in, correct?
A continuance for what? I don't come back here. I don't listen. I want to defer it. I don't want to deal with y'all. Can I defer it like I'm supposed to? I'm deferring the parole like I did before. I defer it on the paper.
That's the same. You want a continuance. You want to defer
it. I want to defer it. Defer. Like when the parole officer came to me, he came to me and asked me to defer it. I said, I would like to defer it, sir. I'm deferring it. And why am I here if I deferred it already?
Okay, that'll conclude this hearing. We're going.
We're voting. I vote to continue this hearing until further time.
I deferred it. I'm deferring it. I don't want no hearing from y'all. I'm deferring it. I'm deferring it, sir.
Be quiet. Be quiet for just a second, please, sir.
It's the same
Okay,
thing.
you're getting what you want. We're not going to hear you this morning. That's the end of the hearing. 10:44. Good morning. We are in Baton Rouge at the Department of Corrections headquarters, and we'll be conducting a parole revocation hearing this morning on Miss Nancy Williams, who is at PLATTE Detention Center. Miss Williams, is that you I'm looking at? Okay, you're on mute.
I'm on mute. You got it, Ed? Okay, she got.
We can hear you now. And we're at PLATTE Detention Center. Is there anybody in the staff there in your room with you?
Yes, sir.
Would you introduce yourself, please?
Okay, my name is Miss Nancy Williams.
Okay, would staff introduce yourselves, please?
Hi, my name is Haley Gallo. I'm the
Oh.
jail supervisor.
Okay, all right. And you are Nancy Williams. Miss Williams, what is your DOC number?
281446.
Okay, and do you have a piece of paper where you waived the right for an attorney there, waived for your attorney and all of that business in front of you that you signed?
Yeah, but I don't have none, sir.
You don't have it in front of you? We're gonna show it to you. We're gonna put it to you on the screen.
Oh, okay.
And see if that is indeed your signature, and did you sign that?
Oh, yeah. Yes, sir.
Okay, good, good. Okay, that's what we wanted to know. Okay. We got it now. Thank you very much. Okay. Okay, we're gonna have two people that will be speaking for you later on. But right now, I want to talk to you a little bit before Ms. Ledoux takes over the questioning. But you're charged with 2 violations while you're on parole. You can't be doing stuff because you sign these rules that you will abide by all these rules. And there's 2 of these rules that your parole officer says that you violated. One is rule number 4, in that you violated the law in that you were arrested for simple robbery and simple assault. How do you plead on that? Did you, first off, did you get arrested? Not if you're guilty or not, but did you get arrested?
A month later, yes, sir, I got arrested.
Okay. Now, did you commit the crimes that you were charged with?
No, sir.
Okay, you didn't commit or plead to anything, weren't found guilty?
Well, they to be honest with you, when I went to court, they did it pass without dated. Pass without dated when I went to court. My lawyer say they did it pass without dated, meaning they didn't give me no charge or nothing. If I do pass without dated for a year, okay. Meaning if I do this year without getting in no trouble, they was gonna drop the charge. And they told me, my lawyer told me I was gonna get released and stuff like that with no parole hold or anything like that, which I didn't know. You understand? Because I thought I was going home that day when they passed it without dated, because he said I was going home that day and they was going to lift my hold. So that's the reason why I took that and ran with it, because I wanted to go home because I had 7 months. I'm already down 7 months for something I didn't do. You understand? Yeah, I was there, sir, but I didn't do anything.
Okay, we'll get further into that, Ms. Ledoux will, in a little bit. And the other rule that you're violating is you hadn't been keeping up with paying for your fees that you're responsible to the state of Louisiana for your parole fees. You hadn't paid any of those since you were put on parole, and you owe $8,210. Is that, are you guilty of owing that money?
Yeah, I am guilty of holding that money, sir. When I got out in 2012, I did what I had to do, getting jobs and everything. Okay, then when I stopped paying, that's because of the COVID. And when the COVID hit, they laid me off. I couldn't find any other job. After all this was going on, my health got bad. I had surgery on my legs. I had irregular heartbeat and everything with my heart. So I filed for my disability. I told my parole officer that, because he used to come to my house every month. Every month he used to come to my house. Before I got picked up December December 11, he came in November, and he was supposed to take my paperwork because I filed for my disability and everything of that nature and stuff. I couldn't work no more. My health got bad on me, sir. And I told him all these things. So he was going to take a copy of my disability paper and put that on file.
Okay, all right. So you're saying that you owe the money, but you have not been able to pay the money. So you're actually guilty of that. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. But what it was, when I was working, I was paying what I can pay. But when I stopped working during that time, it's nothing I could do. But I am guilty of it, sir.
Okay.
I couldn't pay no more, so I'm guilty because I couldn't pay.
Okay. There's two people that want to say something for you. One
Yes,
is
sir.
Pretty. Is Pretty on the, where's Pretty? Are you on Zoom now? Daughter.
Yes, sir. That's my daughter.
Okay, Pretty Williams.
Yeah, I'm on here.
Okay, are you, there you go.
Can you
Are
hear
you
me?
pretty? Are you pretty?
Yeah, I'm pretty. Yes, how
Okay.
y'all doing?
Tell us what you want to say
Okay.
about your mom.
All right, I'm trying to on the department. I'm trying to find an area where y'all can hear me pretty well.
Okay.
I'm at
Okay,
work.
you gotta be still somewhere because you're killing us. We're getting dizzy.
All right. I'm fine here. I'm at work. I apologize.
Trying to
find an area.
Can you hear me now?
We'll come back to you in a minute. What about Nicole? Nicole here? Nicole? Okay.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. And you're a friend of hers, and we'll
Yes.
come back pretty
Yes,
in a
sir.
few minutes. Nicole Jagno, if I'm saying that right.
Correct. Yes, sir.
Okay, you're a friend of Nancy Williams, and you want to say something about in support of her not being revoked. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. I know Nancy did a lot of years in jail, and I've known her for the last 10 years. I truly believe that she has done a lot, like to change her life. She stays out of trouble, like she's doing good. I lost my son 2 years ago, and Miss Nancy has been one of my bigger support systems. And, like she keeps me motivated. She keeps me spiritually, like, she prays for me. She's been there. And my son's anniversary of his death is coming up next week. And Nancy's always been there with me since then. So I just really feel like, as far as leading a good life, Nancy definitely does do that. And, I feel like considering where she's been before, she has definitely come a long way.
Okay, thank you for that. Did Pretty ever get situated?
Yeah, I'm here. Can y'all hear
Okay.
me now?
We can hear you and we can see you, and it's not making us dizzy. Tell us what you want to tell us about your mom.
Okay, well, my mom went to prison when I was 8 years old the first time. So we did this 18-year bid with her, back and forth, going visit and everything. I've worked in the prison system 5 years. I've worked at the sheriff department. Now I'm at the Department of Homeland Security. So I've seen both sides, and I can clearly say in the years my mom has been home, it's been a struggle because 18 years, you expect them to be institutionalized, but she was not. She came home, she got a job, but right now she's dealing with medical issues. And you fall. Some people fall, but you get back up. But I can clearly say, for her, redemption that's what it was. She never went back. She had some hiccups, you know what I mean? But she's never been back. Great mother. She's a great mother, great grandmother, and a great great grandmother, and that's just me. Y'all don't know me personally, but if I didn't feel she needed to be out, I wouldn't have been here. Like I said, I've seen both the system. So I know for a fact she made great, great, great strides. She's held down her own home, paying her own bills, but again, she's dealing with medical issues. And to be, a convicted felon, hard to get a job, hard to start over. She's held down her own home. Her probation officer visits. He knows that. You know, family outings, we do that. And we try to keep her motivated because it's hard. I've never been in the system. So I don't know what it's like to be turned down for a job because of your criminal history. But she kept on. She kept striving to do it. She seek the Black believe in being counseling, going to therapy. She seek that because she has a lot that she's dealing with. So just give her a chance. That's what I'm asking y'all. Look at her record. She's been home. She's held down her address, you know. So just give her a chance if y'all can.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. We appreciate your comments. Okay, your case has been assigned to Ms. Ledoux, who is going to continue the questions.
Ms. Williams,
Yes,
you're
ma'am.
aware we have the video from the store. Are you aware that we have the video from the store during
ma'am.
the? Can you help me understand, because we don't have audio, but I see two ladies, one to be you, that came behind the counter of the store where the clerk is standing, and there's a lot of, looks like animated conversation going on. So what was going on? Can you explain to me what happened that day?
Well, it was like really a misunderstanding. It wasn't no simple robbery. That it wasn't no simple robbery. Meaning, I'm saying that he said because we touched the door or we went behind it. No, that wasn't no simple robbery. She told my daughter that we didn't pay for something in the store. So my daughter came back with the basket and asked her what we didn't pay for. But she was fussing with me more and saying this and that about we stealing and all the above. But I'm showing her, I got the purse in my hand and I had a red book in my hand. I said, ma'am, you can search my purse. I'm not stealing. I don't have anything in my purse. And she kept antagonizing me, and my daughter said, my mama don't have nothing. So her and my daughter got into a heat of an argument. And that's how the door swung open. That wasn't no simple robbery. It was really and truly, it was a misunderstanding in that store. It was really a misunderstanding. It wasn't no simple robbery, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. It wasn't no simple robbery.
I mean, it appeared to be a very hostile conversation.
Yeah, a little something like that, ma'am. Yeah, like, a little, they got in the heat of an argument because she telling my daughter she didn't pay for something. My daughter said, I came back in with the basket, what I didn't pay for, and they got into a heat of an argument and stuff like that because she kept trying to antagonize me. And my daughter said, my mama ain't got nothing to do with that. Leave my mama alone. So they kept fussing and fussing until it just got into a heat of an argument. And when my daughter touched the door to swing the door open and stuff like that, but they charged me with a simple robbery. It wasn't no simple robbery, Miss Ledoux. It was really a heat of an argument that she said my daughter didn't pay for something. My daughter came back with the basket and asked her what I didn't pay for.
Okay. Gentlemen, I would like to go into executive session.
A second.
Got a motion and a second to go into executive session.
I need to review something in the file.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So we'll be in executive session for just a moment. We're going to look at some more paperwork, and then we'll come back and continue our question.
Okay. We'll look at some more paperwork. So let's we can still do that.
Y'all can hear me?
Huh?
Oh, you can hear me, Mom.
Yeah. How y'all doing?
Need a motion, it's 11:09 in the morning, need a motion to come out of executive session.
move.
Yeah. Motion and a second to come out of executive session, and so there'll be no one to object. We're out of executive session and back into regular session, as I said before, it's 11:09. Ms. Ledoux, continue questioning.
Ms. Williams.
Yes, ma'am.
The court did not decide that you these charges.
Say that again, ma'am.
The court did not find you innocent of these charges.
Okay.
The court set it aside for a period of 1 year. So it's not the same thing as you not being guilty.
Yes, ma'am.
It's so they could have found you guilty, but they decided to set it aside for a year. Okay. I watched the video. I have reviewed all of the file, and my vote today is to revoke based on your violation of rule number 4 and 10.
Okay, we have one vote to revoke your parole, Mr. Tillis.
My vote is to do not revoke.
Okay, we have one vote to do not revoke, and it takes 2 out of 3. So the last vote will be mine, and my vote, I'm going to concur with Ms. Ledoux. I'm going to vote that you be revoked on your parole. That'll be the end of this hearing. It's 11:10.
What do you say? It's done, but whatever.
All right, good morning. My name is Steve Prater. To my left is Mr. Chuck Tillis. To my right is Jerry Ledoux. We'll be handling the revocation hearing from Baton Rouge this morning, and we are talking to Jamie Haley at CALCASIEU Correctional Center. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, CALCASIEU, we appreciate you hosting us, and would you please identify yourself?
Staff.
Deputy Lemieux.
Okay, thank you, sir. We appreciate that. We see somebody else is there also. Who else is in the room with us?
My real name's King here.
Okay. Well, okay, and you're gonna have a hearing in a minute, I assume.
Yes, sir.
So, Mr. Haley, Jamie Haley. Okay, all right, sir. Would you scoot up to the table there and tell us? No, you don't have to stand up. I just look like he's kind of far back, but that's okay. Whatever makes you comfortable. What's your DOC number?
501442.
Okay, and we're here to talk to you about a revocation hearing. And do you have a form in front of you, a revocation waiver form?
Waiver.
Questionnaire. Yes, sir.
Yes,
The
sir.
questionnaire. Did you sign that?
Yes, sir.
You understand that? Okay, good. Well, we're gonna be talking to you a little bit about some rule violations. The main thing is rule number 4. You're accused of violating rule number 4, which is on a sheet of paper of rules. When you get on parole, you got to abide by these rules. Well, number 4, your parole officer says you didn't abide by, and that's criminal activity. And the fact that you were arrested in March, in March for domestic abuse, battery with child endangerment, and you were arrested on that date. Is that true or not? Let's start out with a little bit. Were you arrested on that day?
I was arrested. Yes, sir.
Did you commit the offense?
No, sir.
Okay. All right. So you're going to plead innocent to the fact that you committed the offense.
Sir, I'm pleading innocent, and if I can say, I was the one that called. I called 911.
Okay, well, we'll get into that in just a minute. I think Mr. Tillis is going to be asking you some questions about that. Okay, we have 3 people that want to speak on your behalf. Diana Thomas is the first one, and that's your mother. Is Miss Thomas, are you on the air on Zoom with us? Y'all know if any of the Zoom folks are on?
Let's go.
I told them precise time.
Mr. Tillis, do you want to start questioning?
Yeah, we can go ahead. You pled not guilty to rule number 4. Tell us what happened.
On this day, I went to go to work and I wasn't feeling good. So I come back home and I went to the room and I went to sleep. I locked the door. But on this day, like, I mean, any other day, if I'm in the bedroom with the door closed, my girlfriend gonna think I'm doing something maybe. But can I give you a broader view and let you know what's going on with her?
Yeah, go ahead, make it brief.
She's had cancer and had her breast removed, and they put on some medicine, something for depression and another to battle off the last part of the cancer. And she said she stopped taking it because she like, I can't do this. I can't live. I can't function or nothing. So she stopped taking it, and it makes her aggressive, makes her mean. And on this day, I mean, I got kids outside. I got 2 kids outside of the ones I have with her. But she was yelling at them. And I've asked her, man, to not yell at my kids. And she yelled at them. And I told my kid come to me and tell me what was going on. And what he explained is like, I mean, he coughed. He didn't cough, but he had. So he didn't feel like he had to cover his mouth. And she said, cover your mouth. And he said, but I, and she said, don't be yelling at me. Don't you yell at me. But she in return is yelling at him. And off my previous experience when I was a kid, I was yelled at. I was talked to in a bad way by a woman. So when I got older, like not this incident, but incident before, man, that made it by my mama yelling at me, it made it like okay to battle with a woman. And I don't want that for my kids. So I tell her not to yell at them. I say, talk to them calm. If they don't listen to you, I'm gonna correct them. But this day here, I went and I talked to her because her and these kids' mother had differences. And I mean, I got a question if you're doing this intentionally or you're doing this just trying to better the kids. But we gotta understand it. Don't whoop them and don't yell at them. But anyway, I go and I tell her about it. I say, Tanika, man, he was trying to tell you he just hacked. He wasn't coughing. And she say, you always taking up for these MF kids. And I say, come on, man, we can't talk like that in front of the kid. We can't do that. I know what this lead to. And she sat down. I tried to proceed back to the room to go back and lay down. I'm sick. I'm at home sick and sleeping. But on my way back, she said, F that. She said, I set this MF house on fire with you and the kids in here. And at this time, I mean, I can't leave the kids in the front with her. I can't do that. And I mean, I go back and I tell her, I say, man, come on, man, please stop this. Don't do this. Please don't do this. And I go to call my mama. I call my mama and let her know this is really like an episode from the medicine is what I'm believing. So I call my mama and my mama says, son, call the police. So she up and irate and yelling in like a provocative way, like she trying to provoke me.
You call the police?
Yes, sir. I called the police.
What happened when the police got there? What happened?
By the time the police had I got her out of the house with the kids doing this. She's saying she gonna set the house on fire. I don't know what else to do. I didn't throw her out the house. I didn't do anything to harm her. I worked in security. But I called the police, and by the time the police get there, she done bust all the windows out of the house. And the police talked to her first. She's outside, and I'm at the time I'm making sure the kids are right. One of the kids, the teenager, tried to get one of the toys. She was busting the windows with, but she threw the toy at her, and I blocked the toy. But by this time, I mean, I'm still not dressed, and I'm waiting on the police. Get her out, and I go and I put on some shorts and put on some shoes. By the time the police get there, they talking to her. They go straight and talk to her. And I say, sir, I tried to let him know I was the one that called. And he said, go in your house. Go in your house. I'll be in there in a second. And I say, no, but no, sir, I'm the one that called. And he said, again, to go in your house. So, I mean, after this, he come around the gate and he cuffed me. I say, am I being detained? Because I didn't put my hands on him. I didn't do it at all. But the man felt like I defied his orders. So he told me on the way to the police station, he said, don't you know if you'd have went in your house, this would have went way different? I said, sir, you taking me away from my family and my kids. I got 10 years over my head. I didn't put my hands on them. I was the one that called you guys. And I mean, he said, it's too late. It's too late. And
Okay, so that brought you to this point.
yes, sir. But man,
Go
yes,
ahead.
sir.
Go ahead.
I was under the impression whenever I checked off for which case I wanted to, which one I wanted to go with before the board, I said preliminary hearing, because I'm thinking the body cam, the 911 call, and the things like that would free me. I was thinking that would free me. That's what like my parole officer, I asked him, I said, if I get a preliminary hearing, would they present all the evidence? And in the court case, it would be body cam, 911 call, and different things like that. But it wasn't that. It was just the police report, like what you guys have now.
Okay, so, but let me suggest this to you. A lot of times law enforcement, when they ask you to do something, especially if they just ask you to go back inside, don't argue with them, just go ahead and do that. And it makes it a lot better. Then you can present the case. Did you have an altercation with another woman in another town? Babies, you said you had 2 sets of kids?
Yes, sir. But another incident?
Yeah.
You talking about here, right here recently?
So prior to this one.
See, whenever I was convicted on this in 2017, I had a conviction of it.
Were you ordered not to be with the woman that you're with now?
The one I'm with now?
Yes.
Oh, no, sir.
Which one? What is it? Hold on a second.
Marquita?
Is that the other woman that you have children by?
With a stay away order?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So you haven't been, you did stay away from her?
Yes, sir.
You have not had any contact with her?
No, sir.
Okay, 8/21/2023, a discussion with Mr. Thompson. I guess it was determined the course of action at this time would be to reprimand and release on parole with the special conditions, no contact with victim TYEINE. Upon release, enroll and complete a domestic violence intervention program for 6 months and GPS monitoring for 1 year. After this situation, you went up to Sibley and you and Marquita Frazier had problems, couldn't get along. And then you returned back to Lake Charles and the victim in this case is Miss Rome, or the other person involved in the altercation is Miss Rome. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
That's what I want to know. Thank you.
Okay. Is she talking about in the 2023 case?
Jerry.
2023. And then you were detained on this one in March, but you came back in 2023, you had a no contact order.
Yes, ma'am.
It's this person that you had the altercation with in 2025.
Yes, ma'am. Miss Lisa Martin was my officer at one point in time. She went to working with the people with special needs or something. But I spoke with her and let her know with cancer treatment and my baby, I mean, that we was trying to work things out. She had her sign something and allowed us to work things out. This is a incident that happened, and I mean to do 10 years about it, man, I'm just trying to be a daddy. I got 6 boys. I got this woman, unfortunately, caught cancer. At that time, she found out about that I had another baby on the way. And man, I'm aware of how it may look. Man, by God, I got my boys. To stay away from them 10 years, man, that's a lot. Just
Good. We have your mother on right now. I want to speak in your behalf.
Okay,
She's on Zoom.
You gonna be zooming?
This the mom and dad on the phone.
Good afternoon.
Yes.
How y'all doing?
Hey, good, good. And you are Dana Thomas, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you're here to talk about your mother. You're the mother of Jamie Haley, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, tell us
Yes, sir.
tell us what you're thinking. Tell us what's on your mind. Make it
Well,
brief and concise as you can.
Yes, sir. Well, basically, that he's been a good father and stuff, and his help, his heart, helping and stuff. As far as for him being gone 10 years, he has children. He loves his children. He has other people's children he take care of. This was not the way it was told to me it was going to happen. And my thing is, I'm asking that you guys give him grace and stuff and let him be a father to his children. And I can assure you this time here, I will be there in the middle of it. I help other people in the community. I told my son to call the police because that's the right thing to do. So if you guys could find it and you just your grace, just be graceful with him and give him another opportunity to come out here and be a father. He has a job waiting.
You
And he has support out here.
You asked him to call the police when this incident was happening?
Yes, sir. He called me. I do Spark. So I was delivering grocery and I was on the other side of town. I usually go and I sit down and I talk I would be able to talk to Tarnika and give her something out of some biblical word and let her know, what a woman's, how a woman should handle this. If I'm upset, I don't always go and antagonize the person. I want an argument. I'd rather just, sit down and talk about it. So my conversation be mostly with her and him and the kids. And I remind him, look at these kids, I want you to see that everything you do, she has a 14-year-old daughter who I love, who runs track, who's real smart.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
We get the father.
Let's hear from, put it on speakerphone, Mr. Donald Franklin.
Yeah, this is he.
Okay, we got you on speakerphone and we can hear you and I hope you can hear us. Tell us what you want to about your son, Jamie.
Yeah, Jamie, he's a good kid, and I believe that he's mainly concerned about doing the right thing by his kids. And one of his kids' mom, the one he's in there for, counseling. She was for counseling. I think that's why he invited her to come stay with him so they can raise their kid. And I feel like, this particular time right now, I think he was just kind of like, a victim because of not doing a direct order from a police, but I don't think he put his hands on her. And she told me that he didn't put his hands on her. And it's just a thing where, I don't believe in nobody putting no hands on a woman. And, and I raised him not to do that. So, I mean, it's just a thing that I think he need to just go ahead on and come to work with me again because he was working, he was doing good. And, you know, we demolition houses in Lake Charles and we do tree cuts and all that. And I can use him because he's a strong young man. And I think he has done the right thing. And it's just trying to let her come with him, with the kids, because she ain't cancer.
Okay, thank you, sir. I appreciate those comments. What about Amira Jones? Is she with you?
Is she with me?
Yes, sir. Is she with you or not?
No, she's
Okay. Yes, I was just wondering if she was in the room with you because we can't get in touch with her. And I thought maybe she was.
She's in orientation. She going to Southern University. She in orientation right now.
Okay.
Orientation.
Okay, thank you.
She's in college.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate your input. All right.
Okay.
We're going. Left everything on. Okay, we've spoken with them now. I think even though we asked you some questions, Mr. Tillis. Do you have some more questions you want to ask?
No, I wanted to go into executive session if necessary.
Okay. All right, we got a motion for an executive session and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Hello.
Tillis,
Yes.
Prater,
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna go into executive session for just a few minutes and then we'll be right back. We're gonna talk about some paperwork. Thank you.
Can I say something? Right.
Okay, we've got a motion to get out of, to go back into general session. And we've got a second and we've got a third with me, I guess. So anyway, I think we all concurred. We're out of executive session now. We've discussed the procedural matters and we're back into regular session. Mr. Haley, Mr. Tillis, do you have any more questions?
I have no more questions.
I don't have any questions. I just, point out that during this period of supervision, you have had jail sanctions once. You've, had special conditions put on you. It hadn't been a walk in the park, the supervision. So that's all I went out.
Okay, another question. Did you have words with the policeman when you were arrested?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I watched glass being shattered over my son's head. I was scared, man. I was scared. I was sick. I've been fighting for the longest, man. I don't think I can be away from my kids for that, man. My kids, I got 6 boys, dude. I don't want to go to prison, man. I don't want them in prison at all.
Okay, I don't know.
Show them the right way, man. I'm trying to show them the right way. And they just, if I just put myself on child support and stay
Mr.
away.
Haley,
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Haley, that does not give you the right to threaten the police that are just out there doing their job.
I didn't threaten them. I told them, man, I'm not going in my house. I'm the one that called you.
I don't want to get into all of that. I'm just telling you what the officer wrote in his report. And the officer said that you threatened him several times on the way back to the station. And let me ask you another question. How many domestic abuse charges have you had?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure, Mr. Prater. I'm gonna tell you this though. The officer said that, but on the way there, I let him know I have a history. I said, man, I got a background of this. And he said that was me admitting that I did do it. I didn't know about him saying I threatened him in any type of way.
Okay.
I said a history.
I don't have any other.
Man, I got 6 boys.
Phyllis, would you vote for us, please, sir?
My vote is going to be to revoke.
Okay.
My vote is to vote, to revoke based on failed supervision, during the period.
Okay. And my vote also, Mr. Haley, is to revoke because of violations of rule number 4, and that has to do with illegal conduct. Okay, that was concluded here at 11:50 in the morning. All right, we'll continue our work for this morning, or soon to be afternoon. But anyway, we're talking to CALCASIEU Correctional Center. We're going to be interviewing Mr. Raymond Matthews about a revocation hearing. And so we appreciate CALCASIEU hosting us on this. We've already had our introductions. Mr. Matthews, what is your DOC number?
My DOC number is 592-689.
Okay. And do you have a form in front of you, a revocation form in front of you that you signed?
No, sir. It's Louisiana Board of Parole. Parole of Revocation Questionnaire.
Okay, yes, sir. That's what I'm talking about. Did you sign that?
No, sir, I did not. Refused to sign, Kane Greg.
Okay, and why don't you want to sign that?
I actually just want to go home, man, so I can do my job. That's really it. I'm
Yes,
fed up with it.
Okay. Okay, where is, see, I don't have that form with me. Here. Okay, why don't you go ahead?
So, the U.S. Supreme Court provides guidelines to determine if you're eligible for appointed counsel. Let me ask this, Mr. Williams, are you the appointed counsel?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, I am. I was previously appointed prior to the May 1st hearing, the early hearing. I think that's the temporary hearing, I believe.
Preliminary hearing. Okay. So he refused to sign, but is eligible for appointed counsel.
Yes, the local office went through those steps and met with my office and my supervisors, and I'm not sure which judge they met with, but it was determined that he was eligible for appointed counsel.
Appreciate you straightening this out there, Ms. Ledoux. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and continue with this hearing. And Mr. Ralph Williams, we appreciate you being on the Zoom with us, and feel free to take part in this if you need to.
We'll need to read them.
Okay. Mr. Matthews, the reason that you are here is because of violation of rules 2, 3, and 10. Do you know what those rules are? Or do I need to read those to you?
You can read, if you don't mind, you can read them.
Yes, sir.
Please.
Whatever's best for you.
Okay, would you sit up a little closer, please, sir?
Will you chair closer to the table, please?
Chair closer to the table.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, rule, I'll move it up here for just a minute. Okay, you failed to submit a monthly supervision report for the month of March of 2025. And that's rule number 2. How do you plead on that?
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty, did you say?
Yes, sir. Always not guilty.
Okay. You were also instructed to report March 14th, 2025, and you failed to report as directed. Guilty or not guilty?
And what was that for?
That was failing to report on March the 14th when they told you to come in.
Not guilty, sir.
Okay. Rule number 3. On March the 26th, you moved from your last reported address on Perry Lane without permission.
Not guilty.
Okay. Also, rule number 3, you left the state of Louisiana without permission, which is evidenced by your arrest by the Ferndale Police Department in Washington on April the 10th, 2025, Are you guilty or innocent of that?
I mean, I did eat out the store. I mean, kind of built the store. So it was just like a $3 thing. Like it only cost like $3, $4 maybe. I was kind of broke on the snow, you know, sir. I mean, I did eat out the store, but it was something.
Okay, would you repeat what you just said? We're having trouble hearing a little bit. Repeat that, please. Are you guilty or innocent of going to Washington and get arrested?
Oh, yeah, I did. I mean, this is King, but I did go to not Washington. No, sir, I'm not guilty of that.
Okay, you're not guilty of going to Washington?
No, sir.
Mr. Williams, you can help him if you need.
Thank you. Mr. Matthews, do you remember us having a previous hearing at the Correctional Center, sir, back in May?
That was a few weeks ago. I mean, if would have been July, yeah.
Okay. Do you remember having a conversation with the members of probation and parole, sir, while I was there?
Yeah. I didn't see you, but someone else did come and see me.
Can you describe that person?
Blonde hair, blue eyes, dirty blonde.
Was anyone else with her?
The only one.
She was the only one?
Yeah.
Okay.
And after that, I had another blonde head come, but she wasn't the only one.
Okay. Who else was with her?
It was a young black female, wore, I think, I don't know if she was, if I remember right, I can't remember if she was wearing glasses, and a young black male.
Okay. And do you remember the black man's name?
Oh, no, sir, I didn't get to talk to him.
Okay. Okay.
I basically told him I'm ready to come home. That's really about it.
Okay. A few moments ago, you were asked if you were in the state of Washington, not Washington, D.C., but the state of Washington. Do you remember that?
No, before I came, I mean, like 4.5 years ago, yeah. Before I came here and do.
Where were you?
I was home.
Okay. You mentioned earlier that you did eat out the store. You remember that store?
Oh yeah, that was I want to say Canada, Seattle, Canada. I think I actually helped. Yeah, build the store. Yeah.
Okay.
Did build the store.
Do you remember me being asked your name in the hearing that you had at CALCASIEU Correctional? Do you remember that?
No, not recently. No.
Do you remember being asked if you had been in the military?
Yeah, I know him. I know who I am.
Okay, and who are you?
King God Extension Matthews is my name.
Okay, is that the name your mother gave you?
Actually, it's the name I gave myself.
Okay. Okay. Now, you were asked if you had ever moved. Did you ever move from your address?
My previous address.
Yes, sir.
Actually, no, I have not. I've been out on deployment.
You've been where?
Out on deployment.
Okay. Yeah. Did you continue your payments with probation and parole until you were arrested?
I really don't. Right
Okay.
now, I don't pay probation and parole, but I mean, if I got to, whatever. I mean, what depends on what you need help with.
Where do you live? Where did you live before you came to jail?
Actually, I lived in, I came down, for deployment. I built me a house in Lake Charles. And, my house was burned down, so I decided to bring my main belongings back to my real house, which is up north, and then come back down here for investigation. So, I'm ready to go home now.
And where is home?
Washington.
Where in Washington?
Hills, Washington.
Hills?
Yeah. It's called Matthews Hills.
Okay. Mr. Matthews, are you currently on any medication?
No, sir.
Okay. Have the nurses there at the correctional center evaluated you for any medication?
No, sir.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I think I'm not sure if you all have a copy of the report from the May hearing.
Yeah, sure.
And based on that, and particularly my presence, it's an unusual situation here in that it is my belief that the action that you all should take should be based on the evidence and the report that you all have.
Yes.
You've done an excellent job, Mr. Williams, helping tease out that information. I appreciate that.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
I think I'm
Ready to vote?
I am, but, are there any?
I have no more questions.
Ready to vote?
Yes.
Okay, I think we're ready to vote. Mr. Tillis, would you start?
My vote is to revoke.
My vote's to revoke, and I want to put on record that I believe this offender needs to have mental health evaluation and treatment prior to his good time release.
Okay, and I concur with that also. So as of today, sir, at 12:11 this morning, your parole has been revoked. You'll be getting out before long anyway, but in the meantime, we've recommended that you have mental health evaluation. And so, that'll be the end of this hearing. It's 12:11. You've been revoked.
You didn't see this last time. I like your hair that short.
Okay, we are here, and this is our final hearing for today from Baton Rouge. This is a revocation hearing on Mr. Let's see, Jesse Townley, who is in Allen Parish. Is there any staff from Allen Parish there? Would you
Yes, sir.
introduce?
Deputy Emily Nolan.
Okay, thank you for hosting us. We appreciate that. And I assume for Mr. Jesse Townley that I'm looking at, is that correct?
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
And what is your DOC number?
507462.
Okay, and do you have a revocation sheet in front of you? Yes, sir. Do you have that sheet where you signed it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we're you're frozen up on the screen there a little bit. Okay.
I apologize for having a little internet issues here today.
Okay. Okay. Has he signed the questionnaire in our record? Okay, all right.
I'm
Mr.
signed.
Stanley.
Yes, that's it.
Okay, we got it.
That's good.
Okay, Mr. Townley, today that you've been brought up here on a revocation hearing because of possible violations of rules 4 and 10. Ms. Ledoux is going to go over those with y'all. This is her case, and she's very familiar with it. And she's going to go over those rule violations with you, and we'll come in and see if there's any other questions that we might have. But before we do that, let's go ahead and get started with that, and then we will.
Violation number 4. I'm going to read this violation You're going to enter a plea of guilty, not guilty, or either of those with a statement. You did not refrain from criminal activity as it is evidenced by the arrest on January 1, 2025 by the Oakdale Police Department for misdemeanor charge of criminal trespass and the felony charge of unauthorized entry of an inhabited dwelling. The conviction minutes of the 33rd Judicial District in Allen, dated April 2025, you pled no contest to an amended charge of stalking, and the court sentenced the parolee to 6 months parish jail. How do you plead?
Not guilty.
Okay, let me ask you.
I would like to
let's break that down.
I'm sorry.
Okay, let's break this down.
Okay.
Were you
Yes, ma'am.
arrested? Were you arrested in January of 2025?
Yes, ma'am, I was.
Were you charged with criminal trespass and unauthorized entry?
Yes, ma'am, I was.
Was the plea reduced to a charge or amended to the charge of stalking?
Yes, ma'am, it was.
Okay. Did you plead no contest?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Okay. So the facts of it is correct, but you're saying you're not guilty of stalking.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
That's correct. Yes, ma'am.
I understand. Number 10 says you are currently in arrearage of $252 for your supervision fees, as well as a $65 processing fee. How do you plead on that?
I plead guilty on that, ma'am.
So when were you released from prison? What was your release date from prison?
July 1st of 2004.
Okay. And then this came up in January.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Ms.
ma'am.
Townley, did you leave a rose in someone else's house? Did you go into someone's house and leave a rose, a pink rose?
Yes, ma'am. I lived there. That was the place where I reside at. And whenever I was arrested and I contact Miss Emma, which is the homeowner, she came to the DA's office and wrote an affidavit stating that I lived there.
Okay. So were you providing unwanted advances to Ms. Fontenot?
No, ma'am. Jamie, Miss Fontenot is my fiance, and at the time she was impaired. She had been drinking. I hadn't been drinking. I wasn't using drugs or drinking. I was doing good. We had what was just an altercation between spouses. It happens from time to time.
You used the term spouse. Were you legally married?
No, ma'am.
Okay, then
We're
not a
engaged to
spouse.
be married.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So y'all had an altercation.
Yes, ma'am. I didn't put my hands on her or anything like that. I actually left the premises to allow her the time to cool off. And and came back. I was more than welcome to come back. Her and her mother were supposed to be on the Zoom call with us. I know they registered this morning. I don't know. But they were supposed to speak in my behalf this morning.
Was that address the address that you were on paper? Is that the address your parole officer had as your address?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, it was. I had mail. I received mail at that address, my food stamps. My parole officer I was in the middle of a change from Rapides Parish to Allen Parish. But yeah, that was my address.
I have no further questions.
And I was,
How long
I
have you
was,
been,
I was also, I'm sorry, go ahead.
how long have you been on parole?
Since July 1st,
Of 2025?
24, yes, sir.
Oh, so about a
2024,
year?
yes,
And
sir.
you've been living with her since that time?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So she said well, how did this get up? You were trespassing, so she was intoxicated or she just
Yes,
was
sir.
out? Okay, so that's what happened. All right.
Okay, so let's talk about something here. In October, did you go out of state in October without permission?
Yes, ma'am.
And you were given 7 to 10 day jail sanction, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So you actually absconded supervision for that time period.
Ma'am. And I spoke with my officer. Your internet connection was unavailable.
So in 11 of 24, if you say you've been living with her in 11 of 24, you asked your parole officer, Stephen Rachel, if you could be transferred to Oakdale since you'd be living with your girlfriend. So where were you living if you were not there?
That's whenever I had been working in Tennessee, I'd been staying in motels. And whenever I first came home on July 1st, I rented an apartment in Alexandria, Louisiana, and that's how I was on parole in Rapides.
Now we're talking. So did you ever have her address as a legal address with probation and parole? From the beginning, I asked you that and you said went there.
I was in the middle of a change from Rapides Parish to Allen Parish, ma'am.
Okay. So you're a 6th felony offender. How many times have you been on supervision?
Several times, ma'am.
And have you failed any of those periods of supervision?
I have failed some and I have completed some.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
I have no questions. No.
Are you all prepared to vote?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Townley, I read your file, okay? Read the whole thing. I hear some inconsistencies in your answers. I believe that that there is a concern that you had been stalking Jamie Fontenot, and my vote, and you also were out of state without permission. So my vote is to revoke your parole.
My vote also is to revoke rules number 4 and number 10. I'm sorry, just number 4.
Okay. And I concur. So as of 12/28 this morning, your parole has been revoked. You were unanimous in what we say for rule violation number 4. Thank you. That's the end of our hearings for today. Thank you.